Hello there, I'm Sue Hall, host of Bay Area Cares, a program where we get to highlight people doing great deeds in your neighborhood and nonprofits around the Bay Area. Just a heads up that this is a Zoom call that's also being recorded. If you want to see the video, if you want to hear the podcast, and give us some show ideas or hear past shows, all of that can be done at bayareacares.com. The video will live there. And if you've got nonprofits you want to highlight in the future, just reach out and let us know at bayareacares.com. My name is Sue Hall, and this week I'm introducing you to Essence Goldman. Good morning, Essence.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Go ahead. Essence is the founder and executive director of a nonprofit here in the Bay Area called Believe Music Heals. And I want to hear a little bit about your background, and then I want to delve into your organization. Are you a Bay Area native? I know you're a musician, so let's hear a little bit about you.
I'm a sixth-generation native San Franciscan, and I'm a singer-songwriter, and it's pretty much all I've ever done is write songs and sing and make records and play shows. And when I'm not doing that, I'm a voice coach. And I help people learn to find their voices and tell their stories through songwriting.
Beautiful. And so San Franciscan, you're now in San Anselmo, and that's, I believe, the base of Believe Music Heals. Is that correct?
It is, yes.
Terrific. So let's talk about what brought you to this nonprofit, or what brought you to found it.
Well, through my teaching over the years, I had some unexpected experiences where several of my students became terminally ill while taking voice lessons with me. And two of those projects were life-altering, not only for my students, but for me. And they showed me the power of music to transform people's focus and help them find purpose and a reason for being that became ultimately their legacies, and helped me to it inspired me to understand a greater purpose for music and why I make my music and how I can help other people.
I have heard time and time again, I've actually witnessed the power of music and that's effect over healing. So what are some of your success stories that you consider?
Well, I worked with a gentleman by the name of Bernie Dalton, who came to me in 2016 after answering an ad on Craigslist for voice lessons. And Bernie was 46 years old. He was a single father. He cleaned swimming pools for a living. He had never pursued music before as a career, though he played music every night in his living room for his daughter. And at 46 years old, he finally decided he wanted to take music to the next level. And he replied to my ad on Craigslist. And after 2 months of wonderful lessons, where I could see that he was really catching on to vocal technique and starting to write his own songs, but just in the beginning of that process, Bernie lost his voice. He could no longer speak. And at first we thought it was just laryngitis. We didn't know what it was. We didn't think too much of it, but time passed and his symptoms progressed, and he soon began to have difficulty swallowing food or water, and he was drooling. And after a series of tests, he was unfortunately diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. And I asked Bernie what his wish, end of life wish was. He was given 1 to 3 years to live. And from the time of the onset of the first symptom, and we had become friends through this process. When he stopped being able to sing, he shifted his focus to songwriting, and he kept coming to the lessons. He drove to see me every week from Santa Cruz, 90 minutes each way. And he was very dedicated and just wouldn't stop the lessons. So I asked him, Bernie, what do you want to do with the rest of your life, the time that you do have? And he said, I want to make an album. And I said, how are you going to do that when you can't speak and you can't sing? and you can't use your hands to play guitar, because he was losing his mobility. And he said, I want you to be my voice.
Hmm.
I want you to put melody and music to my words. And I said, I don't know how to do that. That's not what I signed up for. And I don't know how to do that. That was something I had no experience in. And so I said, how about this? How about I launch you a GoFundMe to take your daughter on a trip? You could take her to the Grand Canyon, and something she'll always remember. And he said, I don't want that.
Hmm.
I want to make an album. And
Wow.
he started scribbling these words on these pieces of paper and mailing them to me in the mail, lyrics. And I put them in a stack of papers on my kitchen counter with bills and other things I didn't quite know what to do with. And I took my own kids to the Grand Canyon. And when I was there, I couldn't stop thinking about them. And when I came back, I launched a GoFundMe, not to take, for him to take his daughter to the Grand Canyon, but for him to make an album. And I didn't think anyone would care, because he was unknown and he had no track record. But the outpour of public support was overwhelming. And in less than a week, we had $30,000. And I put my own album on hold. And I realized that his music had an urgency that needed immediate attention. And I felt called to bring in my friends, my musicians, and tell them about Bernie. And they're like, who is this guy? We don't know who this guy is. What are you talking about? He's never made, he's never really even written songs before, but he had something to say and he had a reason for doing it. It was life or death for him, really, to make an album that expressed his views of the world, that he could leave and dedicate to his daughter, so that she would always know who her dad was and what he stood for and what he believed in. So we made this album. It's called Connection. And we made a band with my friends, the musicians who were working on my record. And we became Bernie and the Believers. And it had a life of its own. We
That's
also
amazing.
did, we raised money for his health care also. And that project changed my life. And it made me realize everything that had happened in my life as an artist, because I've been pursuing my own music for the last, how long? For decades. And it made me realize that everything in my own career had gone the way that it was supposed to. Because had I had like maybe a huge hit earlier on, maybe I wouldn't have been a voice teacher. Maybe I wouldn't have met Bernie. And so it just brought this sense of inner peace to me, knowing that I had helped him in this way. And it gave me a sense of like exactly everything had happened in the way that it was supposed to. But it didn't stop there. After Bernie, there were other students. There was another one named John Brody, and we're going to be releasing his album in the coming month. And he had terminal cancer at 55, never had smoked, lung cancer. And he wanted to make an album before he died, and he had written one song. And I coached him through the process of writing these songs and recording them here at Allegiant Records, where I'm sitting today. And we made a profound album over the course of his illness that gave him a means for not focusing on his ailment, and not becoming overwhelmed with sadness or distress, because he was inspired, he was creative, he was alive, he was productive, and he was living. In the amount of time that he was living fully. He was living his dream that he had always wanted to pursue, but never had, because he pursued a practical career in engineering, and he was a very accomplished engineer. But something happened when he got the terminal diagnosis, and it changed his priorities, and he was able to focus on music.
And what a wonderful thing to leave for family and loved ones, the sound of your voice singing, and the whole process of living through that. My name is Sue. This is today's world. This is also Bay Area Cares, and we are speaking with Essence Goldman. Essence is the head and founder of BelieveMusicHeals.org. There's so much more I want to talk about, but I want to send people to your website to make sure that they connect with you if they have a loved one who is ailing, terminally ill, or otherwise, and you think that this may help them. Please go to Essence Goldman, BelieveMusicHeals.org. We're going to keep videoing this, but I'm going to wrap up our program here by saying this is Bay Area Cares. And if you run a nonprofit and you want to reach out to us, you can watch this video and other videos, and you can hear other shows, past shows at bayareacares.com. Now, I'm going to stop the audio portion here. Stop. And we are going to continue with this video because I'm fascinated. There's so much more to this. And that was just two incidences of your creativity. And you've got a big project coming up that I was just reading about involving inmates at San Quentin. Tell me about that a little bit.
It's mind-blowing. I'm so excited to go there. Well, I'm going to be teaching 100 people, 100 inmates at San Quentin how to write songs and tell their stories, their music. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. I think one thing that I didn't get to say in the interview earlier that's very important is that this work is not just for people who are terminally ill. This work can help people transcend distress and hardship of many different types, whether it's, someone who's incarcerated, or it's a foster child, or someone with PTSD, or dementia, Alzheimer's, autism, chronic pain, other types of illness. I really believe that, and have witnessed that, music helps people transcend their hardships and redefine themselves, give their lives new focus and purpose, and a creative outlet, self-expression. Music is an opportunity to create a new identity and a new beginning.
I believe that wholeheartedly. And I'm really amazed and just excited that you have found this purpose for your life and those around you. And that's why I want to share this information with everybody. Essence Goldman is the founder and executive director of BelieveMusicHeals.org. They have a wonderful website. You can go there. You can see the types of people she's helped. You can donate if you like, because I'm sure, as you said, you set up the GoFundMe page. I'm sure this takes more than your inspiration. It takes a lot of things to put all of this together. So BelieveMusicHeals.org. Unfortunately, we do have to wrap up. Essence, can you leave us with some words of wisdom?
I suppose I would just leave people with the thought that whatever hardships you might face, that there is a way to focus your energy on something positive and creative, and it's up to you to make your own magic, and it's never too late to start.
Wonderful. Essence Goldman, founder and executive director of BelieveMusicHeals.org. Thank you so much for your help and your time today. My name is Sue Hall, and this is Bay Area Cares. Once again, this video and the audio portion will live at bayareacares.com, and we invite you to reach out there as well if you run a nonprofit. Thank you, Essence.
Thank you, Sue.